This is Brad with Bunn, and I'm going to show you the new updated version of the Element 7
the other guy actually made you laugh and shit, kept you awake.
You'll start seeing these in the field
Worse
probably
than the beer class.
at the end of this year, which is 2020.
Struggling just to get
And
awake.
as we go throughout 2021, you'll start seeing these a lot more out in the
There's
field.
a Bunn Ultra class
What they've
coming
done
up
is
on the
they've scaled this
17th
machine
of
down
July.
in overall size and also in the
Same
number
thing,
of
The same we can do online, yeah.
So
Eventually, we're going to get through all these, and then we're going to have to
to
start traveling.
They
They just had one in Vegas.
Because I know. You told me about it when we were supposed to go gambling.
I come back broke.
Same. I
I
never fucking win.
So now we're getting on the narrow side. Okay, so over here now we have our pressure gauge
Oh, isn't that
and
one
also our
That's
on-off
better.
switch. We also have
It
our
slides
air
in.
vent opening, which we're
So it slides
pulling
into
the
what?
outside
Typically
ambient air
slids
into
in
the
wherever
machine.
you're working.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that we can
on the
pump it
wheels
through
and
the
shit,
system
yeah,
and then
yeah.
So
separate
that's
the
better. You
nitrogen
can see it
from
from the front.
That's kind of like the one at
on the back side of this machine.
Scooters,
here,
almost. That one
We
was
have
on wheels,
our-
isn't it?
Yeah.
We have our IEC electrical socket and also our quick connect fitting, which will come out of the machine and go to our nitrogen dispenser. All right, as far as removing the front panel on this machine, it's just like the original machine. There's 4 nice big bolts on the side that you'll take off. And if you look over here, you can see now that the
He looks like the older version of Tanner.
I was going to
That
say
the outer
that,
cover is no
or the
longer
guy you
key,
had
so you
working
do
out
have
at the
to
warehouse
remove
with the
the
bug
bolts
eyes.
to take
Nah,
whole
Tanner.
cover off. There's only one lip on this
Yeah.
for removing.
An
We
older,
have a lip
fatter
right here on the
Tanner.
back.
That
When
dude
you
that was
remove
with
this
me the other
cover,
day, that
there's
Mikey
no
guy.
longer a slot
He looks
on the
like
frame
Tanner
in the
and
bottom of the
Joseph had a
machine down
baby.
here. So all you have to do to take
That's who
this
he
off
looks
is
like,
just
baby.
tilt it forward like that and then lift up. Alright? One thing they've done for a little bit of noise reduction is along the bottom here on this panel, they've put a pad, a little cushion there to absorb some of the vibration and deal with some of the noise.
So after 2 years
We
of
now
replacing
have
that
our air
pad, that's wore out.
inlet filter right over here. And it's just a
Little foam
quarter
tape.
turn to remove. When you pull it out, there are 2 separate elements that are inside there to come out. And just, you can put them back in real easy. Stick this one back on. Put your cover back in place. Push it in, give it a quarter turn, you're good to go. So we're pulling the air in, the ambient air in to the compressor. So let's talk a little bit about the new compressor here. They have a new style compressor. We're no longer dealing with a 50% duty cycle compressor that's being run by a timer. In the past, the old machine had a timer that would run the machine for about 100 seconds, I believe, and then it would have to be off for 100 seconds. We no longer need to do that with this compressor, okay? So this compressor will run as long as it needs to. We also do
That's the
not
one they
have a
have in
thermal overload, or
Beer
let me say
Blast.
this, we don't have an external thermal overload protection device now on
got
this
one of them
machine.
here
That's
somewhere.
been taken out. There is thermal protection in the compressor if it does overheat, and it will automatically reset once the compressor cools down. So as we come out of the compressor, you will see that the air cooler is now on. There used to be a coil here called the air cooler. That is gone. They just found in the new design that it wasn't necessary anymore. As you come out of the compressor, then you go to your filter. You notice now there's only one filter. There used to be 2 filters. The old machine had a 5 micron filter and a 0.01 micron filter, and now we have a single filter in here. It's just like the old original filter, and you would service it the same way, but we have essentially gotten rid of that 5 micron. Also, you'll notice for the drain of the filter now, we no longer go into a pan with a sponge at the bottom. It actually just goes through the bottom of the machine and ends up on the floor. What they've concluded is that even if this machine runs really hard all day, that it's going to only amount to a couple of drops of water underneath the machine and on the floor, and you'll never notice it. So they've gone away with that.
I got
as
water
well.
on my floor.
So
That'd be a call.
when we come out of our filter here, we then travel down here,
Get there and there's nothing on the floor.
and we go into our N2 separator here, which isn't much different than it was before. But something of note is our release solenoid valve is actually down here. It's very accessible now, and the purge muffler is right here on the front, and it comes off very easily replaceable now. Okay. Something you'll also notice about this machine, on the old unit, when it did a purge at the end of every cycle, it would be a very loud purge, would last for a few seconds. Now we have an initial loud purge and a very slow purge that lasts about 30 to 40 seconds. You probably won't hear it for the most part if the cover's on and it's under the counter, but in a situation like we're in right now, if I were to cycle this machine, you would be able to hear that run. So don't think that there's something wrong with the unit because you're hearing that purging for a little bit of time. You don't have a leak. It's very normal. All right? We still have our non-return valve that's hidden back here now behind that solenoid valve, and all we're doing with that is we're just keeping the pressure that's in the system from going back into the N2 separator. All right? So then it comes out of the N2 separator, travels up in here, it goes into our nitrogen storage tank, basically. You'll notice that we no longer have that fixed regulator up here. Element 7 decided it wasn't necessary anymore, so they took that out. And we only have, on the tank, we have just the drain valve. If you were to want to drain the system, you drain it right here.
Go through Ellsworth.
That. And then we have an elbow, which takes us over to this Y fitting. And this Y fitting provides
Healy's 3.5
the
hours
nitrogen
away.
over to this
But if we go to
pressure
Ellsworth
gauge,
and then to
which
Healy,
just gives us
it's
our
an hour
tank
and 40
pressure
minutes to
reading.
Ellsworth.
And then we
And
go
then
over to this
220
block on this side here where we
That
have
leak's
our
pretty bad. I need to
safety pressure relief
get
valve.
some rings on it.
And then also
Couldn't set it down,
we
I just put a rag
have
over
the
it.
pressure switch. Okay, this pressure switch is set at 125 psi, and this is the only thing regulating the pressure in the system now. So as far as the output goes to our nitrogen dispensing equipment, we do not worry anymore about regulating the output of that. We give them the system pressure, and the machines, the dispensers themselves, will then regulate them as they go. Because they both units that we use, the Well-Built and the JOTAP, have pressure regulators coming into the machine, so it's just not necessary. So we've done away with that here with the Element 7 generator. And it takes about 120
It's called an Element 7
to
also.
130
That's kinda
seconds
crazy.
from an empty tank
Is that what
in a
the first
very
one was, an
well-sealed
Element 7?
system to cycle. So the pressure switch will shut off at about
Probably
125
different models
psi.
or something.
As you drain
actual
nitrogen
weight
out
or
of the
serial
generator,
GM3
when
or
it gets
something like that.
to around 105 psi in the system, the pressure switch will then allow the system to kick back on until we reach that 125 psi. I think we've covered anything that we need to cover on this and give you a good introduction to the new nitrogen generator from Gas, Element 7. And that's it, so thank you for watching.
How long is the classes? 2 hours for 3 days?
Yeah.